Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Congress is holding a 2 days extended Congress Working Committee session at Belagavi to mark the 100th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi's presidency as the Congress president. Now, just a short while back, Congress briefing has just got over. KC Venugopal, Jairam Ramesh, and Pawan Kheda conducted the press conference, and certain announcements were made. The resolution has been passed. There were two resolutions. One is a resolution on Mahatma Gandhi. The other one is a political resolution. And the major pointers coming out of it is that there will be a major organizational revamp in 2025. That's going to be the main agenda and the main focus of the Congress party. And at every level, there's seemingly there seems to be an organizational revamp which is being planned. Then there's Jai Samvidhan, Jai Bhim, and Jai Bapu rally starting from tomorrow, which is in Belgavi, and then it will culminate on January 2026. So it's a 13 months long program, and it's almost like a campaign in villages, state level, block level, and it will be led by leaders from one village to the other. And it's going to be dotted with padyatras, seminars, rallies, and of course, there'll be a lot of mention on how the constitution has been attacked. They will talk about how the constitutional values have been degraded. Then this apparently looks like a massive political campaign which Congress is going to be organizing in the months to come. Then there's going to be an AICC session in Gujarat as well. It's going to be a delegate conference. That's what is being set out. But tomorrow is going to be again the first Jai Bhim, Jai Samvidhan, and Jai Bapu rally. But coming as it does, what does this resolution look like? It has touched upon a lot of issues like caste census, India-China relations. It has also spoken about the electoral malpractices and how the election has not been conducted in a fair manner in states like Haryana and Maharashtra. So all these points were touched upon. So we'll try and understand as to what can we make of this resolution coming out of the Belagavi first day session. Joining me now is Puneet Nicholas Yadav, Senior Editor with the Federal. Thank you so much for joining. And we have Professor Shashi Shekhar Singh from the Delhi University. Thank you so much, Shashi Shekhar Singh, for joining. And I'll begin with Puneet. Puneet, the press conference has just got over. And if you've had a look at the resolution, the first look of it, what does it really show? That what are the major pointers? What is the kind of focus which Congress is wanting to have? KC Venugopal also said that 50 or more leaders had given their suggestions and spoken during the meeting at that time.
That's right, Neelu. There were 132 leaders present at the CWC, extended CWC meet, out of which 50 of them, including, of course, the Congress president, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, and the Lok Sabha leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi. Including them, 50 people who spoke we also need to understand why Belagavi, why they're doing this session there. This is, so 28th is the foundation day of the party, 139th foundation day of the Congress. And so this is, of course, extended CWC meet happens annually on the foundation day or around the foundation day of the party. But the reason they chose Belgaum this time was because it also marks the centenary year, the 100th year of Mahatma Gandhi becoming the Congress president, the only time that he served in that post back in 1924. And so a lot of what has happened today has to be seen in light of that milestone. And, possibly one could even say and draw parallels to the circumstances in which the Mahatma had taken the reins of the Congress in 1924. That was a time when there was an increase in communal strife in the country. There had been riots in several places in the country. Of course, you had the British Raj. The Congress's movement against the British Raj had sort of taken a bit of a beating. After the Chauri Chaura incident of 1922, there were also divisions within the Congress on how it wants to engage with the British moving forward, how it wants to take on the British moving forward. So those were the circumstances in which Bapu took over as Congress president. And it marked a historical milestone because, one, of course, it was at that conference in 1924 in Belgaum where he spoke about largely three things that he kind of gave his talisman to the congressmen and to supporters across the country. First, of course, was with regard to communal harmony, to the need for preserving communal harmony, and he said something which today, in his opening remarks, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge reiterated, that if quarrels among people become a regular thing, become a normal thing, then you are actually at civil war, and it's the responsibility of the leaders to set things right. So that was one of the things, a call for communal harmony that he made in 1924. The second, of course, was the call for unity in the Congress party on various issues. And then, of course, the issue of non-cooperation, the issue of the charkha, symbolizing non-cooperation, and various other issues that he raised. So, 100 years later, you see a repeat of the same communal strife in the country. Uh, of course, under a regime that is uh, led by people who are not Brits, who are people elected from among us, and you've got all kinds, whether it is ethnic strife in Manipur or communal strife in rest of the country, Hindu, Muslim, all of that. That's almost at its peak at the moment. And and then, of course, you also have to look at the Congress's own situation. The kind of disarray that the party has been in and has sort of barely recovered from in the 2024 general elections. But subsequently, the loss in the assembly polls has kind of, taken the wind out of their sails, so to speak. So you have to put this perspective, draw these parallels between 24 and now, Belagavi, Mahatma Gandhi back then, the current dispensation now. So in light of that, one can say to some extent that there is greater clarity in the CWC resolution in terms of what it wants to do for the following year, for 2025. They've highlighted 5 points. The session, of course, the AICC session in Gujarat, which has to also be looked at from the perspective of taking the battle to the home state of the Prime Minister and the Union Home Minister. They haven't yet finalized the venue, but I'm told that under active consideration is to hold the session in Porbandar. Again, the symbolism of Bapu comes into play. Uh, Second is, of course, this Jai Bapu, Jai Bhim, Jai Samvidhan rally, which is happening tomorrow, will uh, kind of flag off a month of protests and campaigns and all of that, padyatras, to culminate on the 26th of January 2025, which is next year, in Mau, with another Jai Bhim, Jai Bapu, Jai Samvidhan rally. And Mau is important because it is the birthplace of Dr. Ambedkar. So you're playing on the symbolism of Gandhi, you're playing on the symbolism of Ambedkar, on the Constitution. These were pitches which formed the core of the opposition and the Congress party in the Lok Sabha elections. So they're trying to build on that. And then, of course, after the rally in Mau, the party is saying that from 26th January 2025 to 26th January 2026. So for a whole year, there will be a sort of relay uh, campaign, from this village to village, township to township, district to district, a relay campaign, which of course will not be led by Rahul Gandhi. It won't be a Bharat Jodo Yatra, so to speak, but the responsibility of making those a success in every state will be on the state leadership. Now, combined with that is the talk of an organizational revamp. So, when you're telling people that for a whole year, you have to keep this campaign alive. You're also kind of suggesting that when you have an organizational revamp that goes on parallel to this, there will also be accountability that is fixed, which has been the biggest problem in the Congress, that failures do not call for any change. In fact, many times failures lead to upward mobility in the Congress. So I think all in all, there is some kind of a greater degree of clarity. The CWC resolutions typically have always laid out the kind of action plan blueprint for the Congress, not just this one. Any CWC, extended CWC resolution that you see, they generally touch upon a whole lot of issues, but primarily, they also lay out the Congress's stand on specific issues as well as an action plan. So, to that extent, I think the resolution today has come up with some degree of clarity on where is the Congress heading, how it wants to engage with the BJP, how it wants to take on the BJP, all of that.
Right. Okay, Professor Singh, I'll come to you. If you've taken a look at the resolution, what do you really feel, and will this resolution make BJP jittery? Now, the kind of start which we saw in the morning, that BJP started blaming the Karnataka Congress leaders for distorting a map, and they said that the Jammu Kashmir is part of Pakistan. That's how Karnataka Congress tried to show that. Yesterday, we saw Amit Shah holding an NDA meeting as well, and with clear signs that they need to unite on how to counter this Ambedkar row which has just erupted in parliament because of Amit Shah. So do you think that this resolution will be enough to counter BJP, or there'll be lots more which Congress will have to deliver?
Uh, I think this is a good beginning. This is a good beginning, and the resolution is focusing more on massive organizational restructuring. Second, the various issues that is related to common man people or common man's issues. He talked about corruption, price rise, and many more things he talked about in this resolution. And third point is very important, symbolism from Bapu to Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. That's the very important part. So at least three parts are there. And that is why, we all know that the organization of the Congress is very weak. And in villages or towns or district levels, even there is a serious problem regarding the structure of the organization. So it is essentially required to focus on the organization, because unless you have the organization, unless you have the people, how can you raise various issues and the challenges that is being faced by the Congress today? And even the Congress, not just Congress, but the country is facing various kind of challenges. So I think this resolution, one, go for massive restructuring of the organization from village to state level, and of course national level. Second is the various kind of issues that you are raising, more than year-long program. If you look at the 27th onwards and 26th January 1927, so almost 13 months, so more than year-long program, where as Puneet has also mentioned, Porbandar, the birthplace of Bapu,
There's some problem with the connection there. Okay, so we'll wait for him to come back. But Puneet, what regarding this issue on EVMs and ballot paper, since Mallikarjun Kharge had announced on 26th of November, the day of the Constitution Day, he had said that we'll try and shun EVMs and start a campaign on the ballot paper. Is there any mention of that specifically? Because I didn't see that as part of the resolution, that specifically saying that okay, we'll support the ballot paper and not the EVM. Yes, Puneet.
You see, the thing with the resolution is that, of course, there is no, as far as I recall, I've been reading it, I didn't see a direct mention of, returning to the ballot papers or, shunning the EVMs altogether. but there are specific issues with regard to transparency in the electoral process. They have condemned the change in the conduct of election rules 1961. They have talked about how, and even the Congress president in his opening remarks mentioned about the eroding public faith in the electoral system. So there are all those things. My understanding is that the reason why they haven't spoken strongly and clearly on the issue of returning to ballot papers is because it's a call that the Congress cannot take on its own while it is part of the India Bloc. It will need to first discuss it with various allies of the India Bloc, because otherwise they might just end up having egg on their face if today they pass a resolution saying that the Congress demands this, and then tomorrow, and we've seen this happen several times, one ally or the other comes out and starts mocking the Congress, saying when you win you don't talk about EVMs, but when you lose you blame the EVMs. We've seen that happening with various leaders of the India Bloc over the last few weeks. So I think that's possibly one of the reasons. I do know for a fact that in today's CWC, as well as the last CWC meeting, which was held after the Maharashtra and Haryana elections the results were declared, that there was a very strong push by various leaders, including in the previous CWC by Priyanka Gandhi, to take a very firm position of returning to ballot papers. But then the Congress can't take that call unilaterally. It will have to take its allies on board. And there are allies who have, of course, which I know, who have told the Congress that while they agree with this push for returning to the ballot papers, they think it should be the last resort, because all other options prior to that should be first exhausted by the alliance. And so perhaps factoring that in, they haven't taken a call specifically to go to to return to ballot papers. I do know that in today's briefing, Rahul Gandhi also spoke about the issue with electoral rolls, and he pointed out, I'm told, that the issue now goes beyond EVMs, because the entire apparatus of elections has been compromised. So if your electoral rolls themselves are compromised, the voter registration itself is compromised, then a good EVM or a bad EVM makes no difference.
True.
So I think that is why the Congress has taken the position it has taken.
All right. So this was the bit about EVMs, but Congress has also said that, we'll continue with our demand on the caste census. Professor Singh, I'll come to you. Caste census, then 50% reservation, that ceiling should be raised. So all these points, are these points enough to make BJP uncomfortable, or BJP will continue with its rhetoric the way it has been doing? How do you see BJP being positioned amidst all this grand plan which Congress is making for the next 13 months?
See, the Congress has, already decided to go for a massive programs, massive restructuring. Everything is there, but at the same time, what BJP can do and what BJP has been doing. Completely changing the narrative. Even today, the map of the Jammu and Kashmir is found in Pakistan and in all this kind. So they will try to divert the attention of the people from these resolutions and the massive programs for the common man's, or everything. But the point is, one, let us focus. Congress must focus on the issues that the Congress is raising or Congress has to raise in the coming days. Second, they must do their restructuring regarding the organization, because unless you have a better organization, how can you implement the whatever programs that you want to implement? You cannot implement. So they must focus it. Then again, the question is, it's very, not easy for the Congress to take every ally in, in confidence, because sometimes some ally may say something else. Recently, as Umar Abdullah mentioned this kind of, the issue of EVM, that's a very serious issue. I mean, your allies are telling like this and raising, voice against the kind of demand for ballot paper. So that's again a very problematic part. But the point I'm trying to say, first, they must talk to their allies, and they have some common minimum program regarding, whatever they want to bring, whatever they want to change, they must bring it everything. So that's very important part. Otherwise there will be problem, because BJP will try to divert the attention, BJP will try to do everything to make Congress and others, wrong, and sometimes even they want to destabilize the country, they want to destabilize the whole nation, destabilize, so this kind of, and you know that President Kharge had already raised this issue. It may be possible that there should be civil strife or civil, rights kind of thing, or civil war kind of things, So that's a very problematic situation. And of course, I think they should go for all such kind of, whatever they demand to the people. That's very important. And resolution says it. Resolution says it, various kinds of rallies, various kinds of, programs. So they have, an opportunity. They have an opportunity to go to the people, raise the demands, and challenge the various, false narrative made by the BJP. False narrative. Everything is false, and that is why they should try to go to the people and, of course, build up their organization. So I think that's a serious issue, and I hope and Congress and the other allies may do something to make BJP, uncomfortable, at least right now, to make BJP uncomfortable. And BJP in this, situation, again, BJP may try to do something which may create another scene, or another certain kind of, problems. So that could be possible. You may not deny this fact. So I think that's an opportunity for the Congress. They have started well. It's a good beginning. And I think the combination of Bapu and Bhim, that means Ambedkar, it's a good combination now. Congress has realized the importance of Ambedkar, in a very new way, and that is very important for them. And so and then again, if you remember, once the Dalits were the social base of Congress. So the minorities, the Dalits, and certain section of others, they were the social base. And if you want to regain that social base, you want to snatch that, social base from BJP, that would be, very helpful to the Congress in coming back to the, the old kind of Congress. And this 1924 and 100 years of Gandhi's presidency in Belgaum, it's a historical important thing. And I think the Congress had took this, important historical, year in notice, and then it started a massive revamp of this organization, at the same time various programs, and now they should go for it. It's not just the resolution. Once you pass a resolution and don't go for the implementation of the resolution, it will make no sense. It would be futile exercise. So I hope.
Right.
Yes.
But in fact, Mallikarjun Kharge in his address also mentioned the fact that, there were a lot of things which remained like an incomplete task as far as the Udaipur declaration was concerned. So he said he'll try and finish all those agendas as well. But coming to you, Puneet, there was also a mention of Sambal. There was a mention of communal violence in the resolution. If you could just elaborate and explain how Congress is wanting to take this bit forward as far as the next 13 months of their program is concerned. And they also made a mention of the Places of Worship Act as well.
Yeah, so that, Neelu, I think, see, this one, when they mention Sambal, when they mention, Places of Worship Act, this is actually, in a way, the Achilles heel of the Congress. They want to talk about communal strife in the country. They're talking about Bapu. They're talking about what he had said back in 24. But imagine a situation where the Congress, despite wanting to raise these issues, uh, you know, is scared of even using the word Muslim.
Hmm.
The resolution today, again, fine. When you say Sambal, one understands, the community that they're referring to, or also with regard to places of worship. But you're not even bold enough to say we will not allow this to happen to the Muslims of the country. And that is one major problem with the Congress today. It's I'm not blaming the Congress leadership entirely for it. Perhaps it's also a political compulsion, because the BJP and several people within the Congress have made it so difficult to speak, strongly and clearly in favor of the Muslims, because the moment you do that, you're accused of appeasing the Muslim community. So that's there. But then, uh, my to my mind, the thing is, if you are going to engage with the community, if you want to raise their issues, you have to show more boldness. You have to be able to say that this country is built on the unity of Hindus and Muslims, and we will not allow the Muslims to be targeted in the way the BJP is targeting them. If you're scared of using the word, you're not going to go very far in your fight. That's what I mean. That is my view. I may be wrong. I've had several people in the Congress telling me, even back when the Bharat Jodo Yatra was on, and I had the same problem with the Congress even then. And many people in the party told me, no, but you shouldn't be saying this. After all, when we say communal harmony, everybody understands who this harmony is for. So my counter is, if everybody understands, what's the harm in saying it, right?
True, true.
So that's there. But I think, Neelu, I think more than anything else, and what Professor Singh was also talking about, more than what they have said about their session happening in Gujarat or their campaign for the next 13 months, I think the most important thing here is the organizational revamp, because
Hmm.
without the organizational and a proper, in the true sense, an organizational revamp, none of this is going to have any effect. And this again is the weakest link for the Congress: setting that organizational revamp in order, getting the right kind of people. See, when Mr. Kharge took over as Congress president, uh, he kept 95% of the team that Rahul, as Congress president from 2017 December to July 2019, and subsequently Mrs. Sonia Gandhi as interim president, had built. So Mr. Kharge, when he became the Congress president, didn't make many changes to the CWC, to the AICC, all that. I mean, subsequently, after the Udaipur declaration, there were some changes that were made. But even the Udaipur declaration promises, uh, most of them were not implemented, which find a reference again today. And it's been 2 years since the Udaipur declaration. So if in 2 years you've not been able to do this, you also need to, even the Congress president himself needs to take accountability for why he has not been able to bring those changes which were promised 2 years ago. And more importantly, when they talk about an organizational revamp, is it going to be as in the backdrop of the G23 controversy 3 years ago? My good friend and former Congress spokesperson Sanjay Jha had said, and I love that quote of his. He said, there were some changes that the Congress president, interim Congress president, had made after G23 happened, and Sanjay Jha had commented that this is like changing the order of the chairs on the deck of a Titanic, you know. So if you're only going to simply say that, okay, fine, KC Venugopal as organization general secretary is not good enough, so we will make him in charge of something else, it's not going to help.
That's
You
true.
have to bring in fresh blood, or at least, if not fresh blood, at least leaders who actually can deliver. The problem with the Congress is, and especially the Congress since 2017, has been that because you are close to or seem to be close to a certain leader in the party, and I don't mind saying Rahul Gandhi, you get the posts that are on offer, irrespective of what you deliver. And I can give you n number of examples of people who have failed in every task the party has given them. And one after the other, they've got elevated to more important roles, whether it is KC Venugopal, who currently is considered to be the strongest man in the AICC. And under his command as the general secretary organization, the Congress has lost 22 assembly elections and no corrective measures have been taken. You've got leaders like Jitendra Singh Alwar, Avinash Pandey, Mohan Prakash, n number of them, you know, uh, and all these so-called in charges of state just stick around after one defeat after another. Deepak Babaria, another one, one after the other, and they're never held to account. So if the revamp is merely going to be a reassignment of their roles, it's not going to help the party.
Won't help. Yeah. Okay, so towards the end, Professor Singh, how would you really see? I mean, today was the first session. Tomorrow is the big rally in Belagavi. So, is this going to be a turning point for Congress? Do you see this as another extension of the Bharat Jodo Yatra? Because Bharat Jodo Yatra did re-energize the party, it rejuvenated the party to a great extent, and the changes were visible in the Lok Sabha elections. So now, this Belagavi session, is it going to be another turning point for Congress?
I wish so. I wish so. It would be a turning point in Congress, But at the same time, what is required is a very sincere efforts, Unless, you just speak and do nothing, that is not going to serve the purpose. So whatever you have decided, whatever you have passed in the resolution, you must try to implement it. And as Puneet has already mentioned, you need fresh blood. Even if fresh blood is not there, take the people who are young and who are the men of integrity. Unless you have a man of integrity, you bring some people and then the very next day the person has gone to the BJP and something else. So these kind of, it actually degrade and demoralize the organization. So unless you bring whosoever, bring the people having some sort of integrity, commitment to the party, organization. Remember, commitment to the leader, loyalty to the leader and the whatever family or whatever, that will not serve the purpose. So therefore, I want Congress must do with all sincerity and commitment to build the organization and to focus on the resolution through which they may go to the people, and finally, with the help of the people, with the consent and mandate of the people, they may challenge this, authoritarian regime led by either Modi and Amit Shah, and the kind of, disrespect he has paid to Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar. So this is, an opportunity for the Congress to do all these things, and I hope and I wish the Congress will try to do all such things. But at the same time, the serious problem regarding the election process is concerned. Of course, there are various kind of drawbacks in the election. The most important part is also very important, that the autonomy and independence of the Election Commission of India. That is very important. If you go and see the two commissioners will be appointed by the the Prime Minister and the another one of the ministers, and then again the changes, that amendment that has been made in the Election Commission's procedures. So trying to hide the facts. Why? Those who are honest, they may not try to hide the facts. Transparency is very important. So they should also focus on the autonomy of the election commission, at the same time transparency in the functioning of the election commission. Unless if you do that, the election is a farce. Of course, this looks like a very, I mean, unfortunate kind of statement, but election becomes farce. And if electoral democracy just for the sake of election, if democracy just for the sake of election, and election is compromised, election is, somehow manipulated, and the mandate of the people are manipulated, then it is nothing but a farce kind of, a democracy. So therefore, Congress must try to do it. And then again, as Puneet was making a statement regarding, see, if you are honest, then you must talk about the minorities in a very, specific term. Must say, yes, we are for the minorities because they are the part of this country, they are the citizen of these countries, and they have also sacrificed a lot. Remember, many of the, hundreds and thousands people went to Pakistan at the time of partition, but thousands and thousands people remain in India. Why? Because they love India. Therefore, they had the choice. Hindus had no choice. There was no Hindu country, but Pakistan was created, for a Muslim country like this, and Muslims decided to remain in India, and therefore they must be respected as other citizens of, either Hindus or the majority community. Therefore, Congress must talk in a very clear term that we are for the minorities. We have to protect them because they are the common citizens. They have equal rights to the people belonging to Hindu community or something. Ye nahi chalega na. You are not just saying this and saying no. This has become, as Puneet had mentioned. Yes, I understand that this is a political compulsion, but at the same time, will you accept this political compulsion? Will you do the same thing what BJP is doing? No, don't do that. Otherwise, if you do that, so you are not actually respecting the views of Gandhi and of course many other great leaders of the Indian National Congress, including Nehru. So therefore, you come forward and say, yes, we are for the minorities, including Christians and other, every minority. And we will never accept any majoritarian political system, So that kind of, resolution is, and the firm commitment is required for the Congress. Thank you.
Right. So we'll have to wait and watch how much of walk the talk Congress does from this Belagavi session. And of course, tomorrow is the big rally, the Jai Bhim, Jai Bapu and Jai Samvidhan rally, which starts tomorrow and it culminates next year. Like after 13 months, it's going to culminate at Mao. So we'll have to wait and watch how things unfold for Congress. Thank you so much, Professor Singh. Puneet, thank you so much for